Hey, it's Scott from San Marcos Makes, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be not only trying some ramen that I recently got, but ways to make the most basic instant ramen even better. Talk about those items. But I just recently got some noodles that I've really been wanting to try. So Momofuku, David Chang's line of ramen and all things in the Asian market, soy sauce and tamarind and noodles and chili crunch, lots of seasonings. He has a whole product line, and I wanted to try some of them, especially the ramen. I've really been looking forward to his ramen, which is this exact one too, the soy scallion noodles. Now, I'm gonna not only show you how to make it, this exact one, but even if you have just the basic ramen noodle, instant ramen noodles, cup of noodles, what you can do to elevate it just a little bit more. So these may be a little bit of the higher end instant noodles, but you can take any kind of ramen and make it better with just a couple different add-ons. First thing we need to find out on our ramen is, do we want it to be a soup-based ramen, or do we want it to be a drier ramen, where it's mainly just noodles, very little broth? Almost all of the ramens can be either way. I definitely prefer it would to be less soup-based. Now, as it gets cooler, I don't mind the soup-based, but in Texas right now, it's probably 100 and something degrees outside right this minute. I do not want a big bowl of soup, but I really want some noodles. So that's gonna be one of your first tips, is just because it says to add 4 cups of water, or you may cook the noodles in 4 cups of water, but that doesn't mean we have to leave that in there. We may want to, at the end, take some of that water out so it's less soupy. So that's going to be my first tip. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our boiling water, or our water up to boiling. If you're doing soup-based ramen, you need to pay attention to how much water you're putting in. But if you're positive you're going to be draining off the water, put plenty enough water to cook the noodle. So on this package it said 4 cups. I'm not pulling out a measuring cup when I know I'm going to drain the water. In the package for this brand, and of course I'm not sponsored by Momofuku, how do we say that? You're going to find the noodles, which these are a higher quality noodle. You're going to see that they're flat, unlike your top ramens or your 25-cent ramens. Which still can be good, and that's everything that I'm talking about on these tips can be done with those 25-cent noodles. Sometimes we don't have to do as much to the higher end, and these still are not expensive. These are $2 or $3 a piece, so it's still a very reasonable meal for the quality you're getting. Now, you'll see that it is a flat noodle. So in the package comes the noodles. It also comes with the seasoning, which this is going to be a soy-based seasoning, soy sauce, not the scallions, because this is the package of scallions. So, you know, it's just like many other ramens. We're going to boil the noodles, we're going to drain the water, and we're going to add the seasoning. Okay, so our water has started to come up to a boil. We want to take our noodles and place them in. And now tip number 2, be a little careful as you're breaking these up. Many of the higher end noodles are a little more fragile than the lower end ones. So if I just immediately went in and started stirring it up, the noodles are gonna break. We want as long as noodles as we can. So let it set for a little bit before you start to kind of break it up. They'll do it on their own, but so we're gonna let this cook for 3 minutes. All right, so the noodles themselves are done cooking. So I want to get them out of this water as quick as I can so they'll kind of stop cooking. So I'm just going to drain this, and then we'll take it back to the stove. But let me get all the water out. Now, if you like yours a little bit liquidy, feel free to leave some of the water in it, but I like mine pretty bone dry. All right, so it is time to add the extras. So I'm going to stick to this dish exactly the way the package is, because I do want to try this one to see exactly how it tastes. So we're gonna get the soy in there, and then there is the scallion packet. So I'm gonna put the green scallions in, and I'm gonna take something to mix this up. And these noodles are done. It is that easy. Let's get it plated up. So let's get this in the bowl, but don't go yet. Let's get to some of the other things that we can do with a ramen before we try this. All right, so my next tip is add in things. One of my absolute favorite item is just add to any ramen a big old scoop of peanut butter. I mean like tablespoon of peanut butter. Peanut butter. It will change your ramen life forever. It is so good. That peanut butter taste. Now I like it to be chunky, but I like a little peanuts in it, and I love that taste that it gives it. But creamy works really good. You still want it to be a little bit warm, the noodle. You don't have to cook it, but the peanut butter will melt. It's fantastic. So go with the peanut butter. Other items, you could add some gochujang. Just add a little bit, goes a long way. It will give you that really wonderful peppery umami taste. Good in any noodle. A dash of just sesame oil. Huge improvement on your basic ramen. So you could do little ginger in the pan. Chop it up. Same thing with your garlic. Sprinkle it with just a little bit of lime. Crushed peanuts. Add some dark soy sauce, regular soy sauce. All of these will enhance it tremendously. One I will be trying with mine is I have recently learned and figured out chili crunch. This is absolutely one of my favorite toppings for anything. Kind of like how Frank's hot sauce, yeah, same thing. I'll put that shit on everything. Its stuff is amazing. Any kind of chili crunch or just some flat old seasoning. Just sprinkle right on the top. All of these items will absolutely make your ramen better. Now, I'm gonna bring back the ramen without any of these additions and try it. I am really looking forward to these. Oh, still gonna be a little bit hot. Now, I have not added one thing to these yet. Yeah, so right off the bat, this is a quality noodle. It's really good. Now it's a very simple flavor, just some basic soy, a little bit of scallions. It's really good. I think it could use a little bit of heat. I like a little bit of heat mine, and boy do I have the perfect item. Chili crunch. All right, so I am gonna add the chili crunch to it. This is the Momofuku's chili crunch. If you don't know what chili crunch is, garlic and scallions and shallots and red chili peppers and oil cooked down. And normally it has a little bit of a crunch. Definitely nothing like you're eating peanuts or nothing, but there's just a tad bit of crunch to it. But it will normally add some heat, add some oil, and it is really good with the noodles, or just like Frank's Red Hot Sauce. I agree with their philosophy. I will put that shit on everything. Let's try it. A little bit goes a long way. Let's give a overall for the chili crunch and the noodles. Now I've separately done a review on the chili crunch, but now I want to kind of give my overall rating for the noodles and the chili crunch. Bland's not the right word, because sometimes you do want that simple taste. Let's do it. Yeah, that is how you do it. That is great ramen. That chili crunch adds that. That chili crunch is a lot hotter than most, and they even have a spicy one. Oh, this is good. Overall rating, I'm gonna give this ramen with the added chili crunch, probably the ramen by itself would have been around an 8. If you add just this and the chili crunch, it pushed it to a 9. 9.5, somewhere in there. I cannot go all the way to 10 yet. 9.5. 9.5. Final answer. So 9.5, and we'll just call them noodles. 9.5 noodles for this one is my final answer. This is a great bowl of ramen that anybody would be happy to get. So much better than your 59-cent, 25-cent ramen. You will love this. Try it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video, but please always remember, okra doesn't go in gumbo, beans will never go in chili, but it is perfectly fine to put pineapple on pizza.